Ah, yes. Tonight's on Remember When, a snapshot of Melbourne and your childhood. Your suburb and the school, your first job and Dad's car, favourite meals and Christmas days, and Mum coming over and Grandma and Auntie. Perhaps Grandma lived round the corner in those days, they always seemed to.
The local milk bar, for example.
And the sweets you used to buy, Dad's first car, the job he had.
The Saturday matinees.
Mum at home with the rest of the tribe, all going to, I don't think we went to kindergarten much in those days.
Maybe Sunday school.
Went to state school, high school or tech, and got a job and got away by about 14 or 15, didn't we?
Many did, yeah.
Now, one of our personalities here at 3AW, and new to the family, but very, very welcome, is the afternoon host of Weekends, Grubby.
Richard Stubbs.
Peter.
No, Peter Stubbs.
All right, that's
a good start.
He's on the other network, but...
Do I call you Grubby, or what do I call you?
You can call me Grubby if you like, Bruce, and that's just a nickname that I've had over the years, given to me by my aforementioned brother many years ago at another rather loud radio station that we worked at back in the day.
If Phil and I were on FM radio, what would our nicknames be?
Oh, you'd be filthy and potty mouth or something like that. You have to wear a little bit of a moniker, I think, over on the FM band. Look, it's come with me, and look, I'm quite happy to be referred to as Grubby. But if you feel more comfortable calling me Peter, as my mother still does,
I'll bet she does.
I'm more than happy. More than happy.
Well, I think it's sounding great on the weekends, and a lot of fun with you and Dee Dee.
Oh, we're really enjoying ourselves, and it's been a terrific. We feel very much part of the AW family, and our listeners have just been wonderful to us, and we've really enjoyed ourselves at the station. It's been wonderful, boys.
Well, 4BC plays a big part too. You I think go up there, don't you, on the
Yes, we do. 4BC, so we get a lot of good feedback from our Brisbane friends, of course. We're in bushfire country and they're in flood country, so we have to swap it around a little bit. But that's been terrific, and right throughout regional Victoria as well. So that's been great fun.
You know, Peter, so many people say, I don't know if you've heard this before, that on radio you sound so much like Shane Bourne.
Hey-ho.
Have you heard this?
I have heard this, ladies and gentlemen, and look, we are a little bit alike in some ways, but look, I take that as a compliment. Shane's a good mate, and he's a fine actor, as he's proven the last few years, and a terrific comic, of course.
Very, very funny man.
So I want to hear you interview him one weekend so I can tell which is which.
Now, we're looking at childhood memories, Grubby, a snapshot of Melbourne and your childhood. Where was the suburb that you remember?
It's an interesting one, actually, Bruce, because I was brought up in what's probably known as Brighton now, but it was Elwood back in the 50s.
That's right.
Now, Brighton, as you know, has sort of crept further north and it's crept further south and crept further east. It would creep west, but then it'd end up in Port Phillip Bay.
Yes, and it's become Brighton.
Very much so. But we lived on the old Victorian Railway tram route that used to run down St Kilda Street.
Oh, yes.
Now, the old trams would go from St Kilda Station through Elwood to the Middle Brighton bars. They were scrapped in 1959, but some of my earliest childhood memories was being taken on the tram by my mother and to St Kilda Station, then catching the old red rattler with the swing door to South Melbourne, where we'd go to the market, which the South Melbourne market's still in full swing, and I remember being taken there as a kiddie, and they'd always give me a little bit of, salami or something like that, the nice man at the delicatessen, and, they had some very interesting cheeses, of course, because it was all cheese in those days only came in a blue box, and it was from Kraft.
That's right. Do you remember the train line, that little tunnel near the South Melbourne market that always flooded?
Yes, that's right.
On the front page of the Herald Sun of the Age, there's a car with somebody sitting on the roof.
Invariably, it was. And of course, that was the early memories of growing up along that. Because then the trams were scrapped in around about 1959, and our family, my father got a transfer. He worked for Balm Paints, who were manufacturers of Dulux paints.
Balm Paints, gee.
Yeah, and he was appointed sales manager in Western Australia. So the family moved to Perth, much to the, I remember my grandparents being very upset because we lived nearby. I was very close to my paternal grandparents.
Oh, they would hate you leaving?
They didn't like it because of course, the boys went, and I was about 5. My twin brother Bill, he was 5, and Richard was 1 when we left, and so off we went to Perth for 3 very happy years, and that's when I started school. We lived in Claremont, but always had a desire to return back to Melbourne.
Grubby, how did radio enter your life?
Radio into my life, look, it was very much through my brother, Richard, who'd started in radio not very long before me. He was working for a mining company, but doing a bit of stand-up comedy on the side. And this is in the days when people like Glenn Robbins and Wendy Harmer and Shane Bourne as well, and these sort of people were starting to really cut their teeth in the early 80s at places like The Last Laugh and so on. And a chap came in one night from the now defunct 3XY and said, look, we're putting together a show and we want you, Richard, and anyone else who you can grab. And Richard said, well, he thought he might try me out on a Friday morning. And then that went to a Friday and Monday morning, and then I had to give up my job and join in because I loved it so much. And I was very lucky to get a very good start through Richard.
And when did Dee Dee come into your life, and how?
Dee Dee came into my life when we joined Fox FM. I joined Fox FM in 1988. Dee had been there 2 years. And so I met her, and we were working on the same breakfast program. And we formed a team. Not long after that, we started to find that we had a little something between us. Always very platonic, gentlemen, I must say.
And so it should be. Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. She's happily married to a wonderful guy called Kieran, who's a solid plasterer, tradesman, very good guy. And my wife Jenny, of course, who I've been married to for many, many years. And so we formed an on-air partnership, which, remains unbroken to this day, and it's terrific fun.
Now, I just want to go back to Brighton Elwood for a moment. You were just a cub, but were you part of the Elwood Life-Saving Club back then?
No, I wasn't, but I was a little bit young, but I knew a few people there. There's a chap there called Sid Conabear who...
Oh, yes.
Used to really run the show down there. He had a daughter, Sally, who was an actor, and she's very attractive. I think she was married to John Waters for a while or something like that. But, very attractive girl. But I remember Sid Conabear. But the Life-Saving Club in the old... I remember when the groin was built at Elwood there.
That's right. Yes.
And because Elstonwick Canal would go into terrible flood from time to time. That was a disaster.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Once the groin was built, that alleviated a lot of that problem. But great place to grow up as a kid and go down the beach and everything else. It was wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
And so when you moved to Claremont, did you join the Boy Scouts?
I was never a Boy Scout. But I did join the YMCA when we returned to Melbourne. We lived in Perth for 3 years, Adelaide for 2. And I joined the YMCA, we lived back in Brighton, and I went on a few camps. And I think Mum used to try and send us out of the house for a little while, and so we went down to a YMCA camp at Shoreham for 2 or 3 weeks. And,
yes, that was the Lord Mayor's camp.
No, Camp Buxton.
Yes, Camp Buxton.
That's right, so we'd go down there, and that was terrific fun, and... So the YMCA was our thing, and then of course on to school in Melbourne as well.
Yeah, well, you've had a very colourful life. Tell us about your twin. What's he doing with his life?
Well, Bill, my brother Bill had not a dissimilar field. He was until quite recently running a business training company, so he'd do that sort of work. So, always standing up and talking in front of people, it's something that we don't mind doing.
All right. Listen, Grubby, thank you very much, for staying up, although you don't have to get up early anymore, do you?
No, I don't, Bruce and Phil, and what a delight that is.
Oh, hardest... I, like you, did radio for about 10 years. I couldn't ever get used to getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. No,
you never get used to it. I did it for about 25 years, but I always had Dee Dee to come into, so that that made it a pleasure. But we're enjoying ourselves immensely on the weekends at AW at the moment.
Isn't it so much easier when you're part of a team rather than flying solo?
Look, it's terrific. I wouldn't know where to put myself without my partner, but she's a great talent and lots of fun to work with.
Well, it is sounding great, and it's Saturday and Sunday, Grubby, isn't it?
That's correct, yeah. 12 till 6 until the footy starts, and then we'll be unemployed for a little while, and hopefully management at 3AW will give us a nod for next summer as well.
Well, don't look at Remember When, will you?
No,
Thanks.
no, we look no further than what we want to do next
Just
year.
the end of your nose.
Keep your eye off Nightline too, won't you? But give my regards to Rich, because we worked together on the Steve Vizard Tonight Show, of course.
Of course you did.
Yeah. He often filled in for Steve, didn't he?
That's right. I think he did about 120 Friday nights and did a terrific job. I used to do the audience warm-ups on the Friday night for Richard. So,
yeah, of course, yeah.
That was a lot of fun when you could work late and you'd get up early in the morning, and it didn't seem to matter when you were that age.
Now when would you like Bruce and Phil on your weekend show?
It's all right.
Have you got a roster there?
Grubby, thank you so much. See you next weekend.
Thank you, Bruce.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys.
5 to 10.
Nice guy, isn't he? I don't think I've ever met him, but he's certainly taken Melbourne by storm.
Well, I don't think you would have, because you called him Richard.
Well, that's easily understood. If you got to go through life with a nickname, people are going to confuse the two brothers, aren't they?
No, I don't think so.
Be like you being sleazy off the air.
No.
Sleazy Mansfield.
No, don't make a thing of that. A little mistake.
Well, point it up. Tell the world.
5 to 10.
Yeah, just repeat it, so in case people missed it.
We'll play it back in a minute. So we're talking about